He's one of the most notorious serial killers that really no one has heard of before.
In the heart of an abandoned town, where silence reigns and the echoes of the past linger, a series of gruesome murders shattered the stillness. The killer, who left no trace behind, vanished without a single witness, leaving behind only a chilling symbol carved into the walls. As the years go by, the mystery deepens. Who was the ghost town killer? And why did they choose Crestview as their eerie playground? This haunting case continues to puzzle investigators and stoke fear in those who dare to explore the dark corners of true crime history. The Silent Town. Crestview was once a thriving mining town, filled with hardworking families and a tight-knit community. But as the mines ran dry and the economy faltered, the town quickly became abandoned. The houses, once full of life, now stood empty, with shattered windows and rusted cars left in the streets. What was once a symbol of prosperity now felt like a forgotten relic of the past. The town was eerily quiet, and the only visitors were curious explorers who wandered through its ghostly remains, drawn by the mystery of its decline. In the summer of 1983, however, that silence was broken by an unsettling discovery. A group of explorers, seeking to document the ruins of Crestview, stumbled upon a house that appeared to hold a grim secret. Inside, they found the first body, a man murdered in cold blood, with no signs of a struggle. The absence of witnesses and the town's desolate nature made it impossible to piece together any clues. How could such a violent crime occur in a place so isolated, with no one around to hear it or see it happen? The discovery marked the beginning of a chilling investigation into the dark forces that seemed to have overtaken the once thriving town. The bodies found. As the investigation into the first murder unfolded, authorities discovered that the crime in Crestview was far from an isolated incident. Over the course of several weeks, more bodies were found throughout the town, each in a different location, and each showing signs of brutal violence. The victims were both men and women, and their deaths were varied in nature. Some had been shot, others stabbed, and a few had been strangled. Despite the gruesome details, one strange detail persisted across all the crime scenes. An eerie symbol had been carved into the walls near each body. This symbol, though clearly deliberate, was completely unrecognizable, leaving investigators with no clue as to its meaning or origin. The discovery of multiple victims deepened the mystery. How could someone commit such horrific acts in a seemingly empty town, yet leave no witnesses behind? Even more perplexing was the fact that the murders occurred in different parts of the town, suggesting that the killer was familiar with its layout. Yet, no one had seen anyone entering or leaving the abandoned homes, and there were no signs of forced entry or other disturbances. This created a chilling scenario for investigators. Were these random acts of violence, or was there something more methodical and sinister at play? The grisly finds raised the stakes of the investigation, leaving law enforcement to search for answers that didn't seem to exist. A murderer who vanished. What made the case even more unsettling was the complete absence of the killer. Despite the horrific nature of the murders, there were no eyewitness accounts, no surveillance footage, and no physical evidence that could point to a suspect. Investigators were stumped by the seemingly flawless execution of the crimes. No witnesses had come forward, and no one had heard anything unusual in the dead of night when the murders occurred. The killer's ability to carry out such brutal acts in an abandoned town without leaving any trace of themselves was baffling. It was as if they had vanished into thin air, leaving no footprints behind. This disappearance added an extra layer of mystery to an already chilling case. The lack of forensic evidence, such as fingerprints or DNA, meant that investigators couldn't even identify a potential suspect through traditional methods. With the killer's sudden vanishing, law enforcement had no choice but to expand their investigation into less conventional avenues. Were they dealing with a local who knew the town well enough to disappear without a trace, or was something more sinister at play? The killer's ability to evade detection left investigators and the public alike feeling helpless. and the case became even more notorious as the search for the murderer continued with no success. The creepy symbol. One of the most perplexing aspects of the case was the mysterious symbol found at each crime scene. Investigators discovered that a strange, abstract shape, part spiral, part jagged line, was carved into the walls near the bodies of the victims. The symbol seemed deliberate and purposeful, yet no one could make sense of its meaning. Some believed it could be a signature left by the killer, possibly a form of personal expression or an indication of the killer's identity. However, despite an extensive search for any potential cultural or historical significance, no connection to any known group or ideology could be established. This left the investigators even more baffled, as the symbol seemed to have no obvious explanation. The symbol fueled numerous theories, some of which leaned into the paranormal. Investigators and locals alike wondered if the symbol could be related to occult practices or ancient rituals. The town's history, with its long-forgotten mining past and its slow, eerie decline, led some to speculate that the murders might be connected to a dark cult or a long-standing secret buried in the town's past. Others thought it was a clue that might lead to the killer's identity or motive, but despite extensive research into occult symbols, nothing concrete could be found. The repeated appearance of this creepy symbol only deepened the mystery, and its eerie presence at every crime scene raised unsettling questions that still linger to this day. Theories that haunt. As the investigation into the ghost town killer grew colder, various theories about the murderer and their motives emerged, adding layers of intrigue and fear to an already chilling case. Some speculated that the killer was a local resident of Crestview, someone who had lived in the town during its prime and had been driven to violence by the town's abandonment and isolation. This theory suggested a personal vendetta, perhaps fueled by resentment or a desire for revenge against the town's decline. However, no solid connection was found between the victims and any potential local suspects. Others leaned into the supernatural, drawing connections to the eerie symbol found at each crime scene and the town's mysterious history. Theories of an occult connection began to circulate, with whispers of dark rituals and secret societies that may have been operating in the shadows of Crestview. Some believed the killings were part of a twisted initiation or sacrifice. Still, others speculated that the killer was an outsider, possibly even someone from a far-off place, using Crestview as a testing ground for their horrific actions. Despite the various theories, none could be confirmed, leaving investigators and the public haunted by the possibility that the truth was something far darker than anyone had imagined. The case remains unsolved. Despite years of investigation and numerous leads that seemed promising at first, the case of the ghost town killer remains unsolved to this day. The brutal murders, the strange symbol, and the eerie circumstances of the crimes have made this case one of the most chilling and perplexing mysteries in the true crime world. Law enforcement agencies have followed up on countless tips, but the lack of evidence and the killer's apparent ability to vanish without a trace have left them with few answers. The disappearance of the killer, combined with the lack of any clear motive or pattern, means the case remains one of the most haunting cold cases in modern criminal history. The town of Crestview still stands, an abandoned relic of its past, with its decaying buildings and empty streets serving as a silent witness to the horror that took place within its borders. Over the years, documentaries, podcasts, and books have revisited the case, keeping the mystery alive for new generations. While the truth about the ghost town killer may never be uncovered, the eerie silence of Crestview continues to serve as a chilling reminder that some crimes may never be solved, and some mysteries are meant to stay hidden, buried in the darkness. As the mystery of the ghost town killer continues to haunt both the investigators and those who have followed the case, it serves as a chilling reminder that some crimes remain unsolved for a reason. The absence of answers, combined with the eerie circumstances, leaves us wondering what truly happened in the abandoned town of Crestview. Could the killer ever be found, or has this case become another dark legend, shrouded in secrets too terrifying to uncover? If you found this story unsettling, don't forget to subscribe for more spine-tingling true crime tales. Until then, keep your curiosity alive, as you never know when the next mystery might be lurking just around the corner.